Hello, and welcome back to another breaking news update. My name is Jimmy Boyd, and you were watching Boyd News. I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. I've got some breaking news coming out from the Gaza Strip that I want to share with you. We have major reports breaking today that Israel has carried out once again another major airstrike on a school inside of Gaza City. And the Gaza Civil Emergency Service has reported that 100 people have been killed in this strike. These are innocent civilians. Among them, actually, are 19 Hamas members that were inside of this building. Israel has disputed the figures on the numbers of people that have been killed in the strike, stating that Hamas is inflating the numbers. But we aren't really sure exactly how many people were unfortunately killed, but definitely dozens, if not upwards of 100 Palestinian people have been killed in this strike. So obviously Israel was going after Hamas. They had some information that multiple Hamas members were inside of the school at the time, and that's why they went ahead and dropped this bomb. Apparently, the munitions that they were using too were smaller munitions. That these were not, giant 2,000-pound bombs, at least based on the information that we're receiving. And this was designed to create smaller amount of splash damage. Although what's being reported is lots of innocent civilian deaths here. So let me just show you this here real quick. On Reuters says Israeli strike kills nearly 100 in Gaza school refuge, officials say. This came out today. It says an Israeli airstrike on a Gaza City school compound housing displaced Palestinian families killed around 100 people. Gaza Civil Emergency Service said on Saturday, while Israel said the toll was inflated and 19 militants were among the dead. Okay, so just showing you some basic information there coming out of Reuters on what happened here. I want to jump over on X and get some information from the IDF directly. Why did they carry out this strike? Who were they targeting? And then also, we're going to have a brief update that's about 4 minutes long from Daniel Hagari, the IDF spokesperson, that's going to explain why they carried out this attack and just share some updates in regards to this. So let me show you this here on X real quick from the IDF directly, the Israel Defense Forces. Today, the IDF and ISA struck terrorists operating in a Hamas command and control center, which was embedded inside a mosque in the Al-Taba'Een school compound. Following an intelligence investigation, it can be confirmed at this time that at least 19 Hamas and Islamic Jihad terrorists were eliminated. These terrorists operated in order to advance and carry out attacks against IDF soldiers and the state of Israel from inside the compound. The strike was carried out using 3 precise munitions, which, according to professional analysis, cannot cause the amount of damage that is being reported by the Hamas-run Government Information Office in Gaza. Furthermore, no severe damage was caused to the compound where the terrorists were situated. Prior to the strike, numerous steps were taken to mitigate the risk of harming civilians, including the use of a small warhead, aerial surveillance, and intelligence information. So this is a picture that they put out supposedly of the 19 Hamas members that were eliminated, also some of the Islamic Jihad operatives as well. So here's a list of all their names and their pictures here, and it says terrorists eliminated in the military headquarters located in a mosque in the area of the Al-Taba'Een school. Okay, so apparently they were inside this mosque in the area of this school, the Al-Taba'Een school, and that's why Israel went ahead and carried out this strike. And we've seen Israel do this time and time again. If they ever find out that Hamas members are embedded within the population of the Palestinians, they drop these bombs anyway on these schools or these compounds. Whether this was an UNRWA organization, building, or school, it really doesn't matter. They always drop these bombs, and obviously it's a very controversial thing on whether they should be doing this or not. But according to the IDF, they have eliminated 19 of Hamas members and Islamic Jihad operatives. So also from Times of Israel Alerts says live update, Daniel Hagari says high probability that senior Islamic Jihad commander was at Gaza City School at the time of IDF strike. Okay, so a senior Islamic Jihad commander supposedly was at the school at the time they dropped this bomb as well. So that's also why they were targeting this. And Israel's been doing this for a long time. They've been going after all these top commanders from all these groups that are attacking them all the time, whether it be Hezbollah, Hamas, Islamic Jihad. It doesn't really matter. They go after all of them. Okay, so finally, I want to show you one last thing here from Daniel Hagari, and this is from the Israel Defense Forces again. After we received clear intelligence of the threat posed by these terrorists, and in accordance with international humanitarian law, we took numerous steps to mitigate the risk to civilians. The IDF conducted a precision strike against the terrorists in one specific building of the compound, an area which where, according to our intelligence, no women and children were present. Watch the full statement from IDF spokesperson Rear Admiral Daniel Hagari regarding the strike on the Al-Taba'Een school building in Gaza City and Hamas's continuous exploitation of civilian infrastructure to conduct terrorist activities. So, 4-minute video. Go ahead and take a look and see what he has to say.
Since the beginning of this war, the Hamas and Islamic Jihad terrorist organizations have been systematically abusing civilian population and infrastructures in Gaza for their terrorist activities against the State of Israel. This includes Hamas' massive network of underground tunnels which go under towns, hospitals, mosques, schools, and UN facilities, and are used by terrorists to command attacks, store weapons, and hold Israeli hostages captive. It also includes hospitals across the Gaza Strip, which have been repeatedly infiltrated and weaponized by Hamas and Islamic Jihad, and where terrorists' tunnel shafts were found. Increasingly, in recent months, Hamas has focused on exploiting school buildings, often where civilians are sheltering inside, to use them as military facilities, command and control centers, for storing weapons and to execute terror attacks. Over the last few weeks, our intelligence has been closely monitoring an active Hamas and Islamic Jihad military facility, where approximately 24 Hamas and Islamic Jihad militants were operating. The names of 19 of these terrorists operating in this compound were published by us today. We also have intelligence indications that the terrorist Ashraf Judah, Islamic Jihad's brigade commander of the central camps, was at the compound. This military facility was embedded inside the Al-Taba'Een school building in Gaza City. After we received clear intelligence of the threat posed by these terrorists, and in accordance with international humanitarian law, we took numerous steps to mitigate the risk to civilians, including using aerial surveillance prior to the strike, and selecting very precise munitions to avoid civilian casualties. Early this morning, the IDF conducted a precision strike against the terrorists in one specific building of the compound, an area that, according to our intelligence, no women and children were present. You can see in a video published by us today that the compound is still intact and that there is no significant cratering or damage to the main structure of the compound. This pattern of systematic abuse of schools for military activities by Hamas and Islamic Jihad endangers both Gazans and Israeli civilians. It must be condemned by the international community. Following the strike, the Hamas-run Government Information Office in Gaza published an unverified casualty count, which was then shared around the world. These figures do not distinguish between combatants and non-combatants, and they do not match the information held by the IDF. Yahya Sinwar, the mastermind behind October 7th, the day where Hamas brutally massacred innocent Israelis and started this war, and the man last week appointed as Hamas political leader, stated himself that a higher Palestinian death count helps Hamas in its war goals. Where Israel sees harm to civilians as a tragedy, Hamas sees harm to civilians as a strategy. The IDF will continue to operate in accordance with international humanitarian law in order to dismantle Hamas military capabilities and in order to bring back home all our 115 hostages, men, women, children, and the elderly, who are being held in captive for over 300 days in horrific conditions. We are operating to create the conditions to bring them back home. We call on the international community to do everything they can to fulfill this goal.
All right, so that's the latest from IDF spokesperson Daniel Hagari giving us an update and assessment on the situation, on why they carried out this strike. And obviously, Hamas was inside. They said 19 members were eliminated, also from Islamic Jihad as well. So just wanted to share an update with you and let you know what's going on over here, why they carried out this strike, because this was something big in the news today that a lot of people were talking about. So I'll go ahead and stay up to date on this. If anything else comes out regarding the story, I'll definitely share more with you guys. But I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. If you got something out of this, please smash that like button. Also, if you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing down below. Hit the notification bell. That way YouTube can notify you. And with that, hope y'all have a great day. Everybody take care and God bless. And we'll see you in the next one.